I've never found a love like this. There it is. I've never found a love like this.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to E20 Zone TV. Monday is done, dusted, finished. But I'm here to talk about Saeed Benrahma. And listen, it's going to be an interesting conversation that I'm going to have. I want people's opinions in the chat. It will go a long way. Saeed Benrahma, underappreciated or overhyped? That is the $1 million question on this today. For me, he's underappreciated. Always has been, always will be. I like Saeed, as everyone knows, and I backed Saeed Benrahma for a hell of a long time. But at the weekend, I think I just about had enough, really. I just about had enough of some of the crap that I was listening to and seeing on social media, right? Unreal. People saying about the goal that he scored in the FA Cup game, yeah? So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking to myself, really, are you going to really dig out this man? He's just won us the game, and there's still individuals who are digging this man out. There really is. I've got some stats that people might want to look at, and I will go through them. But at the end of the day, yeah, you've got to have a bit of respect for this geezer, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people are not really respectful of Benny. They look at him and think, oh, it's always they always want more from Saeed Benrahma. Why? Do you know what I mean? When there's other players in this team who are not performing to a level and really not cutting it to any sort of standard, but they get a pass week in, week out, game in, game out, there's a problem. There's a problem. Has David Moyes treated him right? No, not at all. I think David Moyes has treated him absolutely vile. But when I look at Benny, he ain't that bad. And I think he's actually quite a decent player. And I think people have started to open their eyes and say this is more on David Moyes rather than Saeed Benrahma, than the way he's been treated, in my opinion. I will get to your comments shortly. The way I look at it is with him is this. He scored 3 goals in the Premier League this season. Is that good enough? No, it isn't. 2 penalties, 1 from open play, Crystal Palace at home. But, and there is a but here, has any of them been any good this year? Do you know what I'm saying? Scamacca scored 3 goals in the Prem. Antonio scored 2 goals, and Owen scored 2. None of them have been any good. Yeah. So the way they look at it is he's the only one who's really been a shining light in a really bad season. I will get to this. And it's this. There's the goals right there. Saeed Benrahma 3 goals, Scamacca 3, Antonio 2, Bowen 2, and then underneath that is Lucas Paqueta with 1 goal, penalty against Leeds away. Now, like, listen. Saeed's a lot of things, but I look at him that he's a trier. He tries to have shots. He tries to go forward. He tries to make things happen. He tries to beat a man. And there's a lot of like stick he gets for even trying that, so to speak. And I'm thinking, well, why are you digging him out when he's the only one who's really trying to do something? Do you know what I mean? I don't see anyone else having shots from outside the box other than really Scamacca or Benrahma. Bowen doesn't really have any shots from outside the box anymore. Antonio's shots go into Rose Ed every single time. So, yeah, listen, at the end of the day, I look at that stat and say, right, is 3 goals good enough? No, it ain't. It isn't. Yeah, he needs to score more. But the team have to help him. He's not a one-man army. Do you know what I mean? This is not a man who can do it all on his own. And he's not Messi. And I'm not saying he is Messi, but what I'm saying is you've got to cut him some slack, mate. Do you know what I'm saying? And give him a bit of praise. I see on, as I said earlier, I see on Saturday, yeah, he scores a good goal outside the box. First thing people come out with is, oh, the goalkeeper should be saving that. Who cares, right? He's got a shot. He's got it on target. It's true. As it took no deflections. It's straight in the goal. And they're automatically, some of our fans or our supporters of this club are saying, oh, the keeper should be saving that. I don't really care, really. And like, how many times as other players score goals went from bad keeping error and they go, oh yeah, what a great goal. There you go. It doesn't, like, it's a little bit of a rant, but because I've just about had enough really of it. I see it on Twitter daily of him, and I find it's so disrespectful to the geezer. Do you know what I mean? It really, really is. So there's that. Let's get to this. and it's this one. This is his stats for the season so far: 25 appearances, 6 goals, 2 assists. The 2 assists obviously are in the Europa League Conference League qualifier, 1 in the Prem, 3 goals in the Prem, 1 in the Conference, 1 in the FA Cup, which is the goal against Brentford. Now, them stats don't look great, but yet again, I'll go back to how we have been this season. We haven't been great either, right? If West Ham were in the top 10 and I was showing them stats, then I could understand it. I could understand people saying we ain't good enough. It ain't. Do you know what I'm saying? But them stats are there for a reason, and them stats are saying that he has been the only shining light in a very, very dark season. Do you know what I'm saying? And I've just had a big debate on the WhatsApp group with all of them, right, on the chat. And I turned around and said that even Crystal Palace was the game where everyone knew that the tide started to turn with Dave Moyes and Saïd Benrahma, and people started to see what I've seen for the last 18 months, that there's a little bit of an agenda here with him. Yeah. He scores a really, really good goal outside the box, gets us 1-0 ahead. He wasn't great on the day, but he got us in front. And then he goes and takes him off on the 70th minute mark or 65th minute mark. And to me, that just says it all to me in the grand scheme of things. It really does. Do you know what I'm saying? There's certain individuals who I won't name who comment in my comment section about Benrahma, like wanting Benrahma to foul, basically. And I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, like, why would you want your own man to foul? Do you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make no sense to me. So this is a little bit of a rant, but I'm a passionate guy, and I'm going to say it how it is. So to round it up from me, Saïd Benrahma, is he overhyped? No. We've signed him from Brentford. He cost £25 million. He's not overhyped. Yeah. We've got a player to come in to develop over a long period of time. Yeah. Is he underappreciated? Absolutely. Absolutely. He's massively underappreciated. Do you know what I'm saying? He does one good bit of work on the pitch and he gets minimal praise for it. Do you know what I'm saying? And the fans who back him, like me, I will back this geezer up to the day he goes, because he ain't that bad. And I've seen a lot worse than that. Do you know what I'm saying? But other people have got this sort of persona and agenda with this man that he's just not good enough to wear the claret and blue. And I'm thinking, you haven't seen us fucking 20 years ago. Do you know what I mean? With some of the players that have come through the ranks at West Ham. Absolute shocking. So, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that from me. I'm going to get to everyone's comments. Evening. Happy Hammerette. Hope you're doing well. Hope things are all good for you, man. Hi, James. Saïd Benrahma is underrated, a bit like E20's on TV. Yeah, cheers, mate. Do you know what I mean? Underappreciated. Totally agree. Totally agree with Sir Daddy. Sir Daddy's been a backer of him for a long, long time. Like I have. Like Ibby has and a few others on Twitter. So, yeah, big up Sir Daddy. He's not overhyped, one of our best players and currently saving Moyes' job. Totally agree with that comment. Totally agree. And let's put it into context here, yeah? The way Moyes has treated Benny in certain games and certain moments of games, yeah? Benny should be the first one to down tools and say, nah, that's enough. I don't want to do that. Do you know what I mean? Look, right. And I think Benny really want a new manager in the door today, but he's not like that. You know what I mean? I've seen things on different social media, different YouTube things. People are saying he's got an attitude problem. Now, just to put this into context yet again, because I like to put things into context, Saïd Benrahma against Norwich away last season scored 2 goals. He gets a penalty, and David Moyes won't allow him to take the penalty. West Ham are currently 3-0 up, I think it was, or 2-0 up at the time. And Saïd Benrahma was on the verge of taking a penalty for his hat-trick, if my memory serves me right. And he would not allow Benny to take that to take that penalty. Not once. He goes, no, Lanzini's got to take it. So if that's any other player on the pitch who's on that trick, I believe he would have let him take it. Saïd Benrahma, no, you're not doing it, mate. Then, as luck would have it, Benny gets injured, has to come off, and that was him out for the rest of the season. So, yeah, he's doing Moyes a favour by helping him save his job, mate, 100%. Benny's a possessive baller for us, James. Totally agree. Carries the ball well. Listen, does he need to improve? 100%. I'll say it openly. He needs to improve his shooting. He He needs to improve his goal contribution, right? He needs to improve when he's trying to beat a man, and not having to keep check back, go right to go forward again. Right, totally agree with that. And I'll open my one thing with me where I've backed him up for such a long time. I will say where his flaws are, and I'll say, you know what, he needs to improve on that. And anyone who's followed this channel for a long time has seen me go at Benny and say this is not good enough for him. Yeah, because I'm not a fanboy, so to speak, as everyone keeps putting it, but I'm a realist. And the realistic factor is he ain't that bad. Do you know what I'm saying? And it is what it is on that. The Fornals lovers comment on Benrahma's poor crossing, then fail to mention Fornals' poor shooting. Totally agree with that comment. And listen, I've just had this debate with Alfie, West Ham Online, as we all know him. And he brings up the Fornals debate. Yeah? Oh, what about Pablo Fornals? I've said it recently on this channel that Pablo Fornals has to play games for West Ham United Football Club. And I'm not his biggest fan. Yeah? I'm not Pablo's biggest fan. But I can openly say he needs to play. We need him in the team. But to compare Saeed Benrahma and Pablo Fornals is like trying to compare Zuma to Kera at centre half. There's two different levels. Do you know what I'm saying? One of them players, i.e. Pablo Fornals, is an industrial midfielder. He's not a left-sided attacker because he don't score many goals, right? He doesn't really make any goals. He's an industrial midfielder, box to box, gets stuck in, wins the ball, passes the ball well. That's it from Pablo Fornals. Whereas Benny is a left-sided inside forward. And that's the sort of player that Saeed Benrahma is. So to compare both of them is just stupid in my eyes. And I don't understand it, if I'm being honest. But that's up to them to debate that for another time. Love the fans singing for Benny from when he started warming up until he finally subbed on. Totally agree. Totally agree. People have said to me, is this about are people backing Benrahma up because of the treatment that David Moyes has given him? Now, that's a valid point. Yeah, you can look at it. But this treatment has been around for a long time. Like, there's been games before where I remember Saeed Benrahma playing okay, right? Okay performances. And if I was rating him on these performances, I'd give him like a 5 or a 6. Yeah, it ain't amazing and it ain't absolutely shocking. But then Moyes will go in on him all the time and like say, "Oh no, it ain't good enough. He's got to do more. He's got to do this. He's got to do that." And it proved it the other week. Anyone who wants to go back and watch something, I recommend going back and watching the Arsenal interview because he brings Saeed Benrahma up, but he fails to bring up Lucas Fabianski's bad goalkeeping skills for the near post for Martinelli's goal. Just like, to me, that is just criminal in my eyes. So yeah. Underutilized. Can you imagine him on Brighton with that attacking system? Yeah, I agree. Benrahma's been showing up, yet gets the most hassle. He's the most forward-thinking player we have. Totally agree. Totally agree with Jay Woods. Hope you're well, Jay Woods. Yeah. Totally agree with that comment. Every time Benny picks the ball up, he's looking to go forward. Every single time, or he's looking to try and make something happen in a forward-thinking mindset. Now, someone brought up about Jared Bowen the other day, yeah, and I turned around and I said, like, I listened to what they said on the space. I took it all in. And I went, I'm going to watch that because I've not. I think I have seen it, but I've not really took notice of it. Against Brentford, he done exactly what the person on the space said. He gets the ball, he goes backwards before he goes forwards. With Benny, he picks the ball up. First thing he's thinking is forwards. He's going towards the goal. Do you know what I'm saying? Doesn't get enough credit for me. He really doesn't. There is an agenda there, James. First man subbed off. Every single time. Yeah, Bowen consistently gets a pass. Benny gets dug out every opportunity. Listen, I like Jared Bowen, right? I do, yeah. Excuse me. Jared Bowen this season is not the Jared Bowen last season. Jared Bowen last season really went up about 1,000%. This season he's been poor. Let's be honest, right? When I look at Benny this season, Benny is okay. He's okay. Like he's doing well, right, to a point. Right, he's not doing amazing. If I was rating him on a season like review right now, I'll probably give him a 6, right? But that says a lot about our team rather than him. Like people got to say, well, if he's our best player, then look at like that's what he says about the rest of the team. Yeah, well, look at the rest of the team at the end of the day because the rest of the team has been shy. So yeah, for me, Benny gets a lot of stick. We are struggling to get 20 goals and 20 points in the league. If Moyes does stay as manager for next season, Benny will leave. I don't know. I don't know about whether he'll leave, Benny. But if he does, then it's a shame. It really is. Moyes sticks with Souček every week and he's useless. Valid point. Totally agree. You don't shoot, you don't score. Totally agree with that one. Just imagine Moynes' groans when Benny scored after a few minutes on the pitch. Benny cannot do anything to knock Bowen off the golden boy spot. I agree on that. Bowen's got to improve. Yeah. And from last season, everyone was praising Bowen up. Yeah. To now, it's like he's fallen off the edge of a cliff. Like, have we had Bowen at his peak and now he's just declining? Right, I don't know. If Bowen would have scored that goal at the weekend against Brentford, the first thing everyone would have said is amazing goal, Bowen's back, etc. Giving him praise, yeah? And there would have been an ounce of criticism, not about the goalkeeper, about the shot, nothing. As soon as Benrahma done it at the weekend, I'm on Twitter, I'm flicking through the wormhole that is Twitter, and all I see is it's a lucky goal, the goalkeeper should have saved it. Anything to not praise Saeed Benrahma. What more can I say? What more can I say? The attacking players are so far apart from each other. All he can do is try and dribble through. Totally agree. I've always said it, E. Davis, yeah, that Saeed Benrahma is not a left-sided winger in a 4-2-3-1. He's a left-sided inside forward. That is where he is. He needs to be closer to Scamacca, Antonio, preferably Scamacca, and they need to be coming inside rather than going on the outside. Saeed Benrahma can't cross a ball, yeah, but I'm not asking him to cross balls. I'm asking him to try and go inside and try to shots and make things happen. Right? Personally, Benrahma should be our 10, really. He should get the ball in the middle of the park, spray the balls out left and right to players who could cross the ball in. Because with Benrahma, he can have a shot, and they might go on target, or they might go into Rose Ed. You just don't know. That shot was not an easy. It was rainy and windy. Totally agree with you. I hope you're well, man. Let's get down here. It's not even about the stats. If you have a pair of working eyes, you can see Benny has been our best player this season. I totally agree, Freddie. Totally agree, mate. I cannot agree anymore. Like, when I look at people saying about Declan Rice is a world-class player. Yeah, he is. He's world-class. But that hasn't been the Declan Rice this season that he was last season. And it proves it on the player ratings. Every time me and the lads do the player ratings, I've seen a lot of sixes for Declan, yeah, this season. And last season, you wouldn't dare give him a 6. Do you know what I'm saying? I think Declan looks bad in certain games because of having Thomas Souček next to him. And the problem with Thomas Souček is he can't pass the ball. So Dec's really trying to do 2 jobs at once. And maybe that's affecting Declan Rice's performance, so to speak. But listen, Saeed is Saeed, mate. And like, one thing I've always said is I believe the Brentford model is a good model for them for finding players. The way Brentford find their players, they don't really find any crap ones, if I'm being honest. And Benrahma's come through that sort of money ball system at Brentford. So listen, they don't really, very rarely get it wrong, Brentford, in my opinion. Let's have a look. That left wing position should be Benrahma's, no questions asked. He's saving Moyes' job. Totally agree. Moyes is a bully. If Benrahma was Brazilian, his profile would have been higher, and Moyes would leave him alone and not slag him off. Totally agree. Totally agree on that comment. I just feel there's a lot of issues there with this Saeed Benrahma thing that I've seen. Yeah. The first issue is I just think he's not a Moyes signing. Yeah, I think Moyes has had to use him, and I think we all know that he wanted Eze, I think it was from Palace, who was from Crystal Palace. I think it was. No, he wasn't from Crystal Palace. He was from QPR. Sorry. So yeah, I think he wanted Eze, and he ended up with Benrahma. Benny's more effective than Paqueta at the moment. So I agree on that. But Lucas Paqueta is a good player. Don't get me wrong. I like Lucas Paqueta to a point. Is he overpraised at the minute? A little bit, in my opinion. Does he do enough for the price tag? Not enough for me. Do you know what I'm saying? When people say, "Oh, you can't look at the price tag," well, you can look at the price tag because you're paying for quality. Like if you was paying like £1 million for a Ferrari, yeah, you want it to work like a Ferrari. You don't want it to work like a BMW. Do you know what I'm saying? So he's got to be doing more. He has got to be doing more, Paqueta. But I do agree, Benny's been all right. The abuse I got this summer for defending him was crazy. He's been top 2 players for us this season. Yeah, I agree. Get down here. I think with the fans, they are too many Marmite players in this team. Totally agree on that comment from Peter. Great comment. Comment of the day. That is very, very true. Have I got any Marmite players that I don't like? There's certain players in this team that I look at and I think, you know what, maybe not. Yeah. But I think they're in the wrong position, some of these players. That's one thing I will say. That's the first thing I will say. Like Pablo Fornells, for me, I'm not his biggest fan, but in certain games, he's effective. He works hard. He should be in a three-man midfield, yeah, and not on the left wing or a left wing back. It just makes no sense to me. Like, you wouldn't have like Pablo Fornells as your left wing back in any other side in the Premier League. So why is it okay for him to be in there for us? Just makes no sense to me. Yeah. I think other players get more of a pass than being Marmite, in my opinion, which isn't good. But then that all comes down to favouritism at the end of the day. The Benrahma is a lazy player narrative is insane. I've seen him many times win the ball back after he's lost it, but people don't mention it. Yeah, I agree. Moyes to be sacked if we lose Saturday and be back at the LS as Everton manager. Well, wouldn't surprise me. He's 10 times more effective than Antonio. Totally agree on that comment from Sean. Like, Antonio gets a lot of passes in his time, but it's because he's been here a long time. That's the only reason. When Benny started a few games recently, he wasn't that productive, I thought. Last 2 games, late impact subs and scored in both. Yeah. Moyes will be seeing that as a reason enough to not apart him. The problem is with that, and I had a little debate with Tay. Anyone knows Tay on Twitter, right? Last night about that, is that started Benrahma, right? People are saying about using him as a sub, impact sub, bring him on the pitch, last 20 minutes, change the game. Now, there's 2 ways of looking at that. If you bring him on the pitch and he doesn't perform, people are going to come at him straight away. Oh, sorry, you're supposed to come on and change the game for us, help us, and all that, and you use rubbish, right? On the other hand, that's a lot of pressure to put on a man, isn't it? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's pressure on any sub to come on and try and save us. Like, if West Ham are 1-0 down, Saïd Benrahma's got to come on and try and save us, which is not cool at the end of the day. Benny should be starting games. He has to be starting games week in, week out. I want to see the best players, best attacking players on the pitch. And someone said, I think it was Nicky Hawkins from West Ham Fan TV. We don't look like we're trying to score goals now. Like the attacking threat is none and void at the minute. Let's be honest. So for me, Benny has to be on there. Yeah, Paqueta has to play. Bowen has to play. And Scamacca has to play. That has to be your 4-man attack. With Fornells has to be in this team. It just seems like you can't play them both. I'm not a Pablo or Benny's biggest fan, to be honest. You can't die on Benny this season. Benny could be a truly outstanding player if his shooting was better, but he would then be at a top side instead of us. Totally agree on that comment. Yeah, I've said that before previously. Like, Saïd Benrahma was at West Ham for a reason because he's at a West Ham level. Do you know what I'm saying? He's not at a Man City level. He's way more consistent now, way more consistent than Fornells. Fornells loses the ball all the time. Benny has the most successful dribbles in the Prem. Another stat that I see the other day about Saïd Benrahma. He's got the highest. He's the best dribbler in the Premier League. Let's have a look. Let's get down here. Let's have a look. Bone has been figured out. I agree on that totally. Benrahma has to be selfish sometimes. I agree on that, but then I see the interview the other day with David Moyes saying he has to pass the ball more, which, yeah, says it all. Hi, James. I enjoy your shows. Up the Hammers. We must beat Wolves on Saturday. I totally agree on that, mate. Saturday's a big game. We overhype him a bit, but the situation we play him, it doesn't suit him whatsoever. Plus, he's the only player in our side that actually can face up and take on a player. So I get why he's rated. Totally agree on that comment. That comment there, another comment of the day, 100%. Bang on. He's the only one who looks like he's really prepared to shape up and try and take a man on. I don't see Bowen taking men on anymore. I really don't. If he does, he has to go back before he goes forward. So, yeah. If you were Benny, would you actually want to pass it to Antonio, Fornells or Souček? Their shooting is shocking. I'm not surprised he doesn't pass more. Valid point again. Another one. Afternoon, Snazzy. Hope you're well, man. It's a valid point from Mark, I must admit. We wanted Josh King over Benrahma as well. Yeah. Benny isn't a player of the season, Rice is. And that is from the old faithful West Ham Online. I did give West Ham Online the opportunity to come on, but he declined. He did not want to face the fever in this mood. Do you know what I'm saying? Hi, James. I remember back in the summer when you were there were talks of selling Benrahma. He's been a bright spark for us. Every time Moyes tries to keep him down, he proves Moyes wrong about 80% of the time. Totally agree on that comment, madam. 100%. 100%. People want him out the door. And I ain't going to go over old time, but I've seen some absolute shite from certain people saying about, oh, he's a championship player, he's bang average. I'm mentioning no names, but West Ham Online said he was bang average. And I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, then you've not obviously seen good players. I've seen good, talented players over my 36 years of life. Now, Benny ain't that bad. When you've had to put up with Benny McCarthy, Elan, Mido, fucking some of the shit that we put up with. Sorry, Benrahma's not that bad. He's actually a pretty decent player. It does help that he's met a new bird now, mind, but that's a different story for another day. Sorry, Fornells is out for me. You can work hard, okay, but you can't take corners, pass the ball, shoot. A terrible player and overrated. Look at all the goals. 80% are luck. Agree on that. Totally agree on that comment. And look who it is. Asked and you shall receive. West Ham Online. Welcome. What do you want to say, you little twat?
I'm just reading. I've been reading the chat, and it seems like people are a little bit split, but for the most part, it's people are backing Benrahma. I think Tadil Singh, or whoever that was that just mentioned Fornells, I think Fornells actually impacts the game a lot more than people realise.
Right. But you have got to be honest. This might turn into a little bit of a debate, people, so bear with us. Right. You have got to be honest. They are two completely different players.
Yeah, they're completely different. The only reason they get compared is because Moyes only plays one or the other.
So that's on Moyes then, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, because the way I look at this is, it's like comparing Kehrer and Zuma as a centre half. One of them's extremely good, or very, very good, and one of them is extremely shit. Now, there's two ways of looking at this with him. I think Benny and Fornells have to play in this team. Right, I've always said that. But the problem is the Benrahma agenda is there. And if no one can see that, then I need to know why, really.
The thing is with Benrahma, Moyes digs him out too much in conferences, I will admit that. But also, I think he's given him fair minutes this season. And I think Benrahma has been overrated this season by our fans, personally.
But has he been overrated or have we been over shit?
We've been terrible, but
Right.
I'll come back to it again for the people who haven't seen it. West Ham Transfer's done a poll yesterday, who is Hammer of the Year so far, and Benrahma got 70% of the votes. I don't get it. How is Rice not Hammer of the Year so far? I agree Rice has not been as good as last year, but even
Right.
Rice slightly worse is by far our best player, in my opinion. I think I don't even think it's close.
But how many games this year, and listen, there's nothing against Deck, right? But how many games this year has Declan really run the show for us? Really, off the top of your head?
Probably about, how many league games have we played? 18? I'd say about half and half.
I don't know about that. I don't know about. Well, you're telling me he's played like 18 games in the Prem and he's run the show 9 times. I don't believe so, mate. And the thing is, the best way of summing this up is the player ratings prove that. I could go back.
Yeah.
I could go back and I could watch the player ratings every single time. Yeah. And every time that I've seen the player ratings this season, and me and Mitch said it the other day, Deck's getting a 6.
Yeah,
Or
but
like
Benny
or
gets
5.
a 6 as well.
Yeah, but Benny's not a world-class player.
Yeah, but that's not what people should be using. I get that. I get what people are trying to say, but it doesn't actually make sense. Yes,
Right.
Benrahma's improved this season. I agree.
Right.
But Rice shouldn't be not given Hammer of the Year because he's world class. And Mike Fury just said Rice's default Hammer of the Year in this current season. I think it has to go to Benny. Rice can't win it every year. I think he has to win it every year because he's just our best player every year. It's over a 38-game season, 100 times out of 100, Rice will be our best player.
Right. I understand that. I do. Listen, and I'm not disagreeing with you on what you're saying about Rice. But when it comes to Benny, he like I see it at the weekend. That's why I've done the show today. He scores a good goal, and he doesn't get the credit. Why doesn't he not get the credit?
I think he got a lot of credit.
There's always someone who's saying stuff in regards of Syed Benrahma. No one can sit there and go, you know what? Yeah, that was a good goal. Eat right and give him a little bit of a praise. I think. Let me land on this. Yeah, when this started appearing for me was about a year ago, about a year, 18 months ago. Well, when I started seeing it, yeah, and I was calling it out massively with Moyes, and I turned around and I basically said that he'll do something good, and no one will give him any praise. Like, there was no excuses on the weekend. We were shit the weekend. Yeah, we won the game through him. No one else, through him. All right, he comes on, he has the shot, he scores the goal, he wins us the game. And I still see things on social media. I still see things all around the West Ham scene that there's always some sort of criticism for Syed Benrahma. Like no one can sit back and go, you know what? Yeah, fair enough. He done all right. What are you saying?
Yeah, I think there is always some sort of criticism, but I don't think it's Benrahma's fault. I think if there was no Twitter, for example, I think there wouldn't be this debate. It's not Benrahma's fault that this debate is happening. I think Benrahma is a technically fantastic player, but he doesn't have the mind to match it, and his decision making is poor. But you're going to get that.
Right.
We're not going to get many world class players like Deck at West Ham. But when people are trying to pretend that he's the Lord and Saviour and Hammer of the Year and everything must be about Benrahma, that's when I can't have it. I just don't understand why people are so in love with Benrahma. And I get told now that I have an agenda. Last year, a year and a half ago, I was told that I like Benrahma too much. And then I switched. The more I've watched the Benrahma at West Ham, the more I thought, I don't think his end product's ever going to come. And I don't think it ever will. I think we're going to have to deal with that. Benrahma's a decent player, but he's not the next Messi. And Hammerhead...
But I don't think anyone West Ham online is asking for fucking Messi. Like, when West Ham fans are easily pleased, you should know that. You're a young fan, right? We see a half-decent player, we're over the moon with it. Right? Obviously, I'm older than you, and I've seen some crap at this club, as in talent. Yeah, and I've also seen some talent that has been the best I've ever seen. Like going all the way back to the 2003, with the likes of Cole, Carrick, Defoe, them sort of
Yeah.
players, right? So I can sort of understand what you're saying to that point, but it still doesn't go over the fact that he ain't that bad. He's not that
He isn't
bad
that
of a
bad.
player,
No,
but
he
he
isn't
gets
bad.
treated as in like you'd think he was like Enner Valencia or something.
I
Do you
don't
know what I mean?
what by Moyes or the fans.
I think the fans have changed their tune on Benny, 100%, and I will openly say that when I'm hearing them singing his name, you would never have heard that a year ago, and that's a fact. Yeah, because I think what it was, people had a lot of fondness for Moyes, for what Moyes was done. But I think over the time, I think people have seen that the way Moyes has treated him in games where he's been pretty decent, because he has been pretty decent in games, and he
Yeah,
has
yeah,
been
yeah,
subbed,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right? And then the other thing is, which you said in the chat earlier on, is that are people using Benrahma to vent their frustration at Moyes?
Yeah.
So there's two sides of that coin. Go on, man.
The thing is, the only thing that and I probably do come across like I have an agenda against Benrahma now. And
Right.
once again, I'm going to say it's not Benrahma's fault. It is the fans backing him all the way. Like I'm even reading the chat now. Everyone's saying he's player of the season. I genuinely want to know how he's been better than Declan Rice. I know what you say about the ratings, but Rice has dropped at Old Trafford. He was world class. At Liverpool away, he was world class. Chelsea away was fantastic. Rice's delivered performances.
Liverpool away, I'll give you that one. I remember that game. He was good. Yeah. Go on, carry on.
But Rice delivers performances that our other players could not dream of. And
right.
I think people just, every year it happens, people just want a shiny new toy. They just don't want to give it to Rice. Like when Souček won it, I don't know how he won it. I know he played well that year, but Rice should have won it all day. And it's happening again.
But wouldn't you agree with the treatment that Benny has got in the grand scheme of things? Surely there must be an element of like, well, this man hasn't down tools. This man hasn't said, you know what, I'm going to not bother trying for West Ham. Right?
Yeah,
Every time that geezer's been on the pitch, he has tried for West Ham. And look, I'm going to say this quite openly. He's also tried for Moyes and all. Right? Yeah. Every game he's been on the pitch, he's tried to make something happen. Yeah, I'm not saying, listen, I will openly say it. Yeah, he's not the best thing since sliced bread. Right? He's not Messi. Yeah, but one thing he is, and which West Ham fans do like, he's a fucking trier. He will try and have a shot. He will try and beat a man. He will try and make something happen. Do you know what I'm saying? And I don't think he gets enough praise for that, mate. I really don't. I think people look at him and go, oh, yeah, right. He has a shot, and he goes, oh, why are you shooting from there for? But no one else has a shot. No one else tries to make something happen.
No, yeah. I think Benrahma, the memo that Benrahma hasn't tried is not true. I remember 2 games ago when we lost 2-0 at home to Brentford. Benrahma tried as much as anyone that day. He was getting the ball, trying his best. I'm not his biggest fan in terms of end product, but there's no doubt in his effort. But once again, I thought the best player on the park that day was Declan Rice. Someone just put it in the chat. Rice has had a terrible season. For his standards, which is world class, he's been slightly below. But he's still been. Go back and like some of the games he's played have still been unreal. I remember after every game, I go and see what opposition fans have to say about our players, just to see who they've thought's the best. Every time, apart from Forest away, where everyone was going on about Benrahma because he was brilliant. It's about Rice, because Rice is our biggest threat. He's our best player, and it just seems like people are trying to discount Rice. In favour of Benrahma in this Hammer of the Year debate. That's the biggest problem for me.
I don't know. I see what Mark said there. I said, hi, everyone. There is no agenda. Moyes wants his players to be a complete, full package. Well, you're not going to get that, mate. Well, if that is the case, Mark, I'll just use this. If he wants a complete, full package, why doesn't Pablo Fornals assist more goals and score more goals? Like, that would be the perfect argument for that. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you think there's an agenda, West Ham Online, with Benny? Honestly, if you was to openly swear on the fucking Bible in a court of law, would you say there's an agenda?
It depends how you define agenda. Do I think Moyes likes Benrahma? No,
Yeah.
not particularly. I think he thinks he's a talented player who doesn't have the end product to match. I make him right on that. But does he bring him up too much in interviews? Yes. Like
I
when he
agree.
was blaming him for the Arsenal thing the other week, where I saw you say it about the fab near post, Rice getting outstrengthened by Saka. Yeah, he only brought up Benrahma. That was unfair. But
Right.
on the way he actually treats him as a footballer and his actual opinion on Benrahma as a player, I agree. I think Benrahma's a talented player who crosses the ball every time into a keeper's hands, makes too many of the wrong decisions, and at the end of the day is a decent player, but he'll never be this guy who people are making him out to be.
But what are people making him out to be, West Ham Online?
They're making him out to be Hammer of the Year, the Lord and Saviour, and apparently been our best player all season. He hasn't been our best player. I don't get why people think he's been our best player. I think
So if he's, just for argument's sake, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. If he scores, say, 5 goals from now to the remainder of the season, becomes our top scorer for this season, is he player of the year for you?
if Rice carries on playing at the level he's playing at, no.
So basically, there is no other player can touch Declan Rice in this team for player of the year.
Probably not.
So the thing is, it's an hard one with me on that one because I slightly agree with you, and then I look at it and think Deck hasn't been as good as he was this season. Like he just hasn't. This season, he just hasn't been the same Declan Rice. There's been certain things I've
Honestly,
looked at.
some of the stuff Hammerhead's saying is just so disrespectful. The way he's talking about Rice, you'd think he played like Carlos Sanchez. Saying he's not had one good game Rice hasn't had one game this season where he's looked like the last two. Liverpool away was one of the best games I've ever seen him play. So that's for that for a start.
See, someone just put a comment there, yeah, which I make him right. E. Davis, yeah. End product. He's the only attacking player creating chances. That is quite true. Like you said about Bowen winning penalties, right? But in open play, Benny is the only one who's sort of making chances or trying to make chances, or trying to do something to Listen, I agree with the crossing side of things. I've always said that he can't cross a ball to Geezer, right? But yet again, it goes back to the position he's in. He's not. He shouldn't be a left-sided winger in a 4-2-3-1. He just shouldn't be. Personally, I'd have him as number 10 if it was me. But then that's where the debate comes in with Pablo Fornells, and it all goes down. It goes down the line. Do you know what I'm saying? So I can understand what people are saying, but can any of our players cross a ball in a minute? Not really.
No, this is like when Eddie Davis says he's the only attacking player creating chances. He's been our best player. You're blind. I didn't say the other attackers been good. I think Bowen has had a poor season. Lately, I think he's been a lot better than people give him credit for. But yeah, he's had a poor season. And the other attackers have been terrible. So yes, Benrahma has been our best attacker. I've never said he's not been. But yeah, I think for people to say he's been player of the season is wide of the mark, in my opinion.
Yeah. Dell, he said, how come you never come on screen, West Ham Online? Just curious.
I'll tell you exactly why.
Have you heard his opinions? I will come on screen.
I go to London Stadium with my dad and my nan. I put a lot of opinions on Twitter. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Trust me, I don't blame him. But I've got to be the face of it, really, because otherwise there'd be no face at all. Do you know what I'm saying? Right, how do you want to round this up with this? Because obviously you've come on. I've turned around in the thumbnail it says underappreciated or overhyped. What are you saying?
Underappreciated or overhyped.
And say it with your chest. Say it with your chest. Say it with 100%.
Underappreciated by the manager, not in terms of minutes, by the way. I saw someone say about minutes. He's played the second most minutes out of all our attackers, so not in terms of minutes. But as a player, he's underappreciated by Moyes, yes.
Mm.
By the fans, he's slightly overrated, in my opinion.
Mm. I don't know about that, mate. I really don't. Because the best way I look at this is with him is that he's right. Is he a 40, 50 million pound player? No, he ain't. That's coming from me. What we're paid for him is exactly what he is. He's a 25 million pound player, right? But what you get is you get okay performances with a man who's prepared to try. Like, he's a trier. Like, when I look at Flynn Downs isn't a world class player, but he's a trier. He gets stuck in, like, and what you pay for a man is really the value of the man, in my opinion. Sometimes it can go higher or lower, but I just look at him and I think, yeah, it's just. I just think he gets harshly treated. You definitely wouldn't want Lucas to be the face of E20. That gorgeous man is probably asleep somewhere in the US of A. Right, let's get to some comment. Jim, ask him for season ratings for Rice and Benny. I'd like to know. What is your season rating so far for Rice?
Do you want me
and
to
Benny?
rate them for how good they've been or how good they've been for their standard?
Well, we could do a bit of both on that. Let's go. Let's do a bit of both.
For Rice, as a player this season, I'd say he's been a 7 out of 10. For Benrahma, I'd say he's been a 6. For their level, I'd say Benrahma's overachieved compared to last season, and Rice has slightly underachieved.
You're telling me so far this season you're giving Rice a 7 out of 10.
As a footballer, yeah, definitely. He's been our best. Last year, I give him a 9. So, as a player, best player by a mile. Yeah.
I'd have to go back and go for every game. Yeah. I do remember the Liverpool game where he was excellent, Deck. I will say that. When you brought it up, I remembered it straight away. For this season, I don't think you can give anyone a high rating this season so far. Like, if we get to say we finish 13th and we end up in a final of a competition, then my rating would go up a lot for Deck. At the minute, I'd give him a 6, mate. I'd give him a 6, if not a 5. I think Deck's been good in games, certain games, but his consistency level has been bad. But then, is that on Thomas Souček? That's the question.
See, this is where I think people are getting it wrong. Firstly, on your question, is that on Souček? No, I don't think so. Plays a little bit into it, but Rice has just been technically off it a couple of times.
Yeah. He says, let's get this right here, because you are literally making the argument for Benny.
This is where people are misquote. This is where people are getting it wrong. This is what I think, James. People are saying Benrahma's hammer of the year because he's been above his standards. Rice has been below his standards. That doesn't mean that Benrahma's been better than Rice. That's like saying if Cristiano Ronaldo joined, let's say prime Ronaldo joined the squad and scored 20 goals and Benrahma scored 10. You'd give Benrahma hammer of the year because Ronaldo's not scored 50 like he usually does. Ronaldo would have still been your best player. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I understand that argument. I do understand that argument, but there is other circumstances here, West Ham Online. Like you have to take them into account, i.e., the manager not giving him no praise. Let's be honest, Benny's not only trying to fight for the shirt to start in the starting 11, he's fighting the manager to try and prove him wrong. And let's be honest, the fans will call for Benrahma, because let's be honest, when Benrahma puts in a good performance, the fans will big him up all day long. Yeah, and the thing is that they won't want him out the door. Like, if Benrahma's on the bench against Wolves at the weekend, people are going to look at that and go, "Well, why? Like, what are you trying to achieve? We need to score goals, win games." Like, and I understand what you're saying about the Rice thing. I get it, but Deck this year is, in my opinion, is not a 7 right now. I think he's been poor. I think he's had 1 or 2 very, very, very good games. Other than that, he's been pretty average, if I'm being honest. Like, not average as in like, but average for his standard. so to speak. Do you know what I'm saying? Where EastEnders up there, but he's been average for us. But then there's other circumstances for him. Like if you've got Thomas Suchik there and he's getting found out, then you're trying to do basically two man's position. So I understand what you're saying.
What do you think of Peter Chelmsford's comment?
Rice has not the same since he had a. I agree. Do you not agree on that comment? I do. I think he has changed his ways a little bit, Deck. He's not the same player.
I don't think the baby's the reason for his performance level dropping.
But let's put this into context, yeah? Pablo Fornells has a kid. You don't see much of him. Deck has a kid. Declan Rice hasn't been the Declan Rice that we've seen for the last 2 years. Now, is that stuff behind the scenes? I don't know. That's one thing I will say. Is it that he's having contract talks where they're breaking down? Is it that he's just had a kid? Because you never know. Like when you have a child, it's a big commitment. Like it's like late nights, early mornings. He's got to put in performances for West Ham. West Ham ain't playing well as it is. Some of the media that Deck's done this year has been a bit iffy, to say the least.
Oh, I agree with that.
So like, and it ain't just media with West Ham, even with England. When you're talking about and he's openly said that he wants to play at a higher level. Now, every West Ham fan doesn't want to hear that. Like we know you do, Deck, right? And we know that you're the best player in the squad, the best player at the club. But we don't want to keep hearing you saying about like that you want to move on to bigger and better things, because as fans, we want to have bigger and better things at this club, not at someone else's club. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Right, James, I'm gonna have to go. I've got to go to Wagamama's, so I'm gonna have to abruptly leave. But thank you for having me on.
No worries. I'll let you go.
And thank you to the chat for a good debate. See you all after.
Peace. He's out the door. You know what I mean? Let's get to the end of this. Boys, he's creating a bad energy at the club. That is the core of the problem, sadly. I agree. Good point. Happy. Good luck. Oh, yeah. Right, what we got? Let's have a look. Any final comments? Chuck them in. Rich says, cheers, West Ham Online. West Ham Online is a very interesting man. Do you know what I mean? He's a young lad, got strong opinions. And yeah, he doesn't reveal his face because he'd be confronted, I think. But it is what it is. To round it up from me, yeah, I just want to see a bit of praise for Benny. That's all I want, yeah. If he does something good, yeah, then just give him a bit of praise and say, you know what, yeah, fair enough, well done, mate, right? Listen, as fans, football fans and West Ham fans, we've all got our favourite players. Yeah, we've got our players that we like, we've got our players that we favour, and we've got our players that we dislike. Yeah, it happens at every club. Right? It doesn't happen just at West Ham. But I just feel that on Saturday, we have to see him play in this team. Yeah. He come on as a sub against Leeds. Yet again, we're fighting to stay in the game. I think he comes on and it's 2-2. And we're hoping for him to do something. And the thing is, we need to score goals. That's one thing West Ham are lacking this season. Goals and really a cutting edge. Do you know what I mean? So I want to see all our attacking players on the pitch at the same time. Personally, for me, Fornells has to play. Benny has to play. West Ham has to play 4-3-3. But I don't like this possession-based game, this 3-4-3 rubbish. I don't like it. I never have. So that is my opinion on that. I'll get to your final comments. Long way to go for the Hammer of the Year. Who knows? Aguerd could be in the mix. I called it, Steve, a while back. If Aguerd plays the rest of the season, he's up there. Excellent player. I do like that kid a lot, I must admit. And he's only just arrived. Boys treats him with respect. He's actually going to try and to save his job. I totally agree. Everyone did give Benny praise. Most gave him an 8 out of 10. What else do you want, James? It's not a case of it's what I want, Troge. Far from it. It's people will give him praise, but then knock him down in the same aspect. They will say, well, oh, it's a great goal, Benny, but the keeper should have saved it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? So, and even the 8 out of 10, right? I won't give him an 8 out of 10, personally. I'll give him a higher 7. Do you know what I mean? Because for the amount of minutes he was on the pitch, he scored the goal, won us the game, great. But he didn't do anything else. So, yeah. let's get down to the bottom here. Let's try and get these done. When Benny scores, some people say that's what we bought him for. Unbelievable. Why does West Ham Online not answer a direct question but comes back with two questions? That's how he is, mate. That's how he is. He was lucky, but he had the shot. Totally agree, mate. Totally agree. I hope you haven't put the fever curse on Aguerd. You were bigging up Kira. No, listen, I actually done my research on Aguerd, and Aguerd's been highly rated for a long time. Kira, I don't know, mate. I'm actually quite gutted about Kira. Just to round it up. Yeah, I am gutted about Kira because I thought Kira was going to come in and be a really, really good player. I think at right back he's not too bad, but left back it's not his position. Centre half's not his position. But yeah, it is what it is with that. Just to sort of round it up from me, obviously Saturday, I will be doing a preview during the week, but I will talk about it now before I go. It's huge game. I'm worried about Saturday because I think Wolves look good. I watched Wolves the other day against Liverpool. They look threatening. They've got the ex-Seville manager who, let's be honest, is a decent manager. He will get the best out of them players. I think Wolves will be fine. So I'm a bit nervous about this game. This game could either go one or two ways. West Ham could turn up there, put in a good performance and get some sort of positive result. Or I fear West Ham could get blitzed. I don't know why I am a bit nervous about Wolves. I'm more nervous about Wolves than Everton. People think that we can just go to Wolves and win. I just don't think it's that easy. Do you know what I'm saying? We've won there when Lingard played, the famous 3-2. Last season we went there, we lost 1-0. It was the most diabolical game ever. And I'll never forget the game last year because I backed Bowen to score and he had about 400 chances in the game and he just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. So I'm a bit nervous about this Wolves game. I won't lie. I see people saying about Moyes and saying, well, he's got 2 games basically and I think he could be done. I don't think he goes, mate. I really don't. Like, for me, I look at it that they can't. I don't think the board will get rid of him. Do you know what I'm saying? Unless it's absolutely dire straits. Now, that's one thing I will say. He has to put in a performance. Like even Leeds the other day, right? And I know we spoke about Benrahma today. I know I'm going a bit off topic, but I will talk about West Ham. The Leeds game the other day sort of papered over the cracks a little bit. That second half, when we're 2-1 up, we're in control of the game and we just let it go. If Leeds would have sort of scored a bit earlier before they did, then basically I think we would have got done in that game. We was literally fighting for our lives to stay in that game for a point. So, yeah, like I feel Wolves could turn up. Do you know what I'm saying? I understand that, Robert. They are below us, but I don't think it really matters, mate. I watched them the other day against Liverpool. They looked fresh. They did. They look fresh. They look on it. And the last 2 games that I've seen West Ham play, in my opinion, is I looked at us against Leeds. I thought first half we got away with it a little bit. We got the penalty, got away with it. Second half we scored early, and we should be seeing that game out really, or if not attacking that game, going for the third. Against Brentford, even though it was the reserves, and I understand that first half was dire. And I think if Brentford would have scored, Brentford would have won that game. Like if Brentford would have scored first, they win that game easily. So I don't think West Ham would have had 2 goals in them. I really don't. And this is the same thing I fear on Saturday against Wolves. I think if West Ham could score, then West Ham could play on the counter, which will suit us. If Wolves go ahead, then I just don't go as what I think it is. Do you know what I mean? I'm quite nervous about this one because I think if we get done up there, then he has to go. I just don't think he will. I'm being honest. I really don't. I don't think the ball have got the bottle to get rid of him. He needs to play 4-4-2. He needs to do something. I must admit, that's one thing I will say. This sort of system just doesn't work. Did you see Perkins' goal last night, James? I did, mate. I did. I tweeted it out straight away. Good goal. Young player yet again. Literally left West Ham. He's doing things at another club. So yeah, I did say happy Hamaret. Bold have fucked themselves by not getting rid of Moyes. after the Everton game. I think these next two are the ones, really. If we lose against Wolves and the Everton game goes the way that it could go, then I think he I don't think he goes. My personal opinion is I want him to go after them two, but I don't think he does. I really don't. I think the board will see it out for the rest of the season. I think the board will accept that West Ham are not getting top 10 now. That's one thing I will say. But yeah, we will see what happens there. If we lose to Wolves and Everton, yeah, I agree. Both the manager and the ball need to leave. Totally agree on that comment. 100%. Really do. What I did see before I go is this. I see people saying about Graham Potter. Obviously, Graham Potter is massively under pressure at Chelsea. And people saying if Chelsea get rid of him, we need to act and try and get Potter in. The problem is with that is that I don't think Potter would come to West Ham straight away. I think he would need time to sort of reflect back on Chelsea, and we would need someone right now. So yeah, I'm unsure on that one. I think Potter's a great manager. I think he overachieved at Brighton, but he worked with Brighton for a long time. So yeah, would I like Potter? I would, but I don't think we're getting right now. We're ended up with Brian Potter from Phoenix Knights. Final question. Let's go. Which is this. Quick question. Can you see any permanent first team signings this window? West Ham will be doing something this window, I think, personally. We need a striker at this club. I think we all would agree that Mikel Antonio isn't the Mikel Antonio that he once was. And West Ham need help in an attacking sense. We desperately need a left back at this club. I will say that 100%. I've called it for a long time. You have all probably called it for a long time that we need a left back. Cresswell just doesn't cut it anymore for me. Emerson, he's not favoured there at left back. Left wing back he is, but not left back. So if West Ham was to go out and get a left back and a striker, then I think we'll be all right. I just feel that for how much money we're spent, we're still light in all the positions. That's the one thing I will say. And like when you start going through the team, like Cornet out is a massive blow. Like he was another man who could come in, play as a second striker, play as a right winger. Like him being out has also killed us a little bit. So yeah. Will we use Oko Flex in games? I don't think he does, mate. I think he goes straight back out on loan, 100%. Wan-Bissaka would be a great shout. Rico Emery won't come to West Ham, mate. I don't think he needs to. I've called for Rico for a long time. Me, Scott Venn, and a few others said it about a year ago on here, funny enough. And I always said, go to Brentford, get Ivan Toney out of there, get Rico Emery out of there. Two very, very good players. So, yeah, I don't think we get Rico. But you know what? Wan-Bissaka, people have said about him, I like him. Defensively, I think he's decent. I think he's very good defensively. Going forward, not so much. Bit inconsistent going forward, but I want a right back who can defend first and attack later, in my opinion. So that's just me. But we will see what happens there. Anyway, right, that is me done. That has been Syed Benrahma, underappreciated or overhyped. Please leave your comments in the comment section below. That will go a long way. Give me your thoughts. Do you think Benny's overhyped or underappreciated? I want to thank West Ham Online for coming on. He's now having a Wagamama somewhere in the streets of Southend. So if you see a man in Wagamamas talking with a squeaky voice, then you know it's Alfie. And I'll be back during the week to do a preview, talk about Wolves. It's going to be an interesting week, I think. I think West Ham could be active in the transfer market. Obviously, people have seen what X had to say. Do you know what? We need, if it's El Nesri, if it's Wan-Bissaka, whoever, we need something at this club. We need to bring some players in to sort of boost this side up. That's one thing I will say, because I think we just need like an injection of something else. Do you know what I'm saying? But we will see what happens there. And finally, please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and above all else, look after yourselves out there. And I will see you again in the next one. Saeed, you're the man. You'll always be appreciated by me, mate. Peace.
There it is. I've never found a love like this.